Gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and get started. I believe Councilman Wallace hopefully will be here shortly. This is the executive session of the Clarksville City Council for December 27, 2012. It is a little after 4:30, and we'll begin the agenda with Councilwoman McLaughlin.
Mayor, I think there might be a citizen in the audience that wanted to address us under public comments. I'm not sure she made it or not. She is here.
Okay, I mean, I see her back there, and if there's no objection, normally, you know, under public comments, they have to contact Ms. Skinner and okay, all right. So following the executive session, we'll recognize you when we get to public comments. All right, I have no further issues to address at this point in time since I've already addressed the issue about the task force under mayor and staff reports. Is there any other business to come before the Clarksville City Council from any members of the council? Seeing none, we will accept a motion to adjourn. We have a motion properly seconded. All in favor of adjournment, say aye. Aye. And then nobody leave, because we'll now recognize public comments. And I believe if you want to come forward and tell us your name.
Mayor and City Council, I'm known to some of you, but my name is Rachel Rutland, and I'm here to, first I'd like to pass out this packet to make sure everybody has the same information, and that way you can see what I'm addressing. I'll wait till everybody gets their packet. I did try to send this out electronically. If you didn't receive it, you should have it in your email box. And there's bookmarks, and if you're looking at exhibits and things, they're bookmarked in the PDF. So unfortunately, I ran out of time to tab them for you. So. Okay, this issue is about cluster developments, and I'd like to first thank you for the opportunity to come tonight. And I want to talk about the infill developments and the option to use cluster developments in existing neighborhoods where 75% or 50% or more of the existing neighborhood is developed under the old zoning ordinance, and there's not a different exit, an entry and exit into the subdivision, thereby which probably using the cluster development can damage the cohesiveness and the community, because under the new zoning ordinance they're required to have HOAs, and those that were there before, and this is in reference to Patrick Place, that do not have to have HOAs. So some of that open space that is required under the cluster development that may or may not be able to be used by the other residents of the subdivision, since they do not belong to the HOA, and then the cohesiveness of the neighborhood suffers. So in considering that, I wanted to draw your attention. If you look at the requirements for the cluster development, you'll see in, well, first of all, let's look at the colored map here. And you can see that in March of last year, this rezoning issue was brought before the City Council, and they wanted the developer, meaning Weekly Brothers and Jeff Burkhart, Councilman Burkhart, wanted to take this section that's empty that has Patrick Place on it and wanted to rezone that whole area into R1A, and that was defeated and it was held to R1. And you can see the red outline outlines the entire area of Patrick Place and how large it is, and that the entrance from Tiny Town is the only entrance coming in and out of that subdivision from a main thoroughfare. Okay, so with that, the concerns in March were drainage and not adding excess into the blue way of the West Fork Creek and such. So minus the two that were absent, Councilman Wallace and Councilwoman Candy Johnson, it was defeated and it remained R1. So why am I here? I'm here because how does R1 become R2A and R2? And that's through this cluster development option, which I believe that the Regional Planning Commission didn't interpret. It's not just me. We brought a petition with 144 signatures last year, and they're still there. And they're still, you know, I'm just happen to be the one that's here tonight to talk to you and do most of the communication. So basically, if you look at the excerpt I brought to you from the zoning ordinance, it talks about on page 192 of this chapter 5, the requirements for it. And I believe the Regional Planning Commission is, if you look here, it says development requirements, and this is all about perimeter lots. I live in section 2A of Patrick Place in lot 135. I'm an adjoining neighbor, and so this impacts me directly. My lot width is 90 feet, and right now they're building 2 houses behind me with 60-foot lot widths each at 7,700 square feet in each lot, where my lot is 15,000 plus. Okay, so it talks about perimeter lots. They must meet the perimeter lot requirements unless buffering provisions have provided, and then it goes into what the buffering provisions are. And then it goes down further on, this is on page 193 of that chapter 5, and then it goes down further. It says perimeter lots may be reduced and equal to one zoning classification or subject tract, or equal to the adjacent lots, whichever is less. The interpretation that I believe, and let me just state this too, we are not against, you know, not developing. I just want to make that very clear. I think there's a misunderstanding that we are trying to stop all development. That's not the case. We want it to be safe. We want it to be equitable within the community. But anyway, the interpretation here is that the perimeter lot requirements are one zoning size down, and if they put the buffer in, does that mean they can go from 15,000 down to 5, which is R2, or here where we're interpreting it that they can go to 12? And if they can go to 12, or if they can go to 5, then they're fine. But our interpretation of this is to 12 per this section, and we're asking you as a city council under Tennessee Code 13-7-208 that you enjoin this, to look at this and kind of go through the ambiguities of this particular section so that you can help us, because we've tried every avenue we can to try to get our point made regarding this particular section and lot widths, and then further consider the use of the cluster development and infield developments where existing neighborhoods already are in your 2030 plan.
Thank you so
I'm sorry
much.
I went over time, but
That's okay.
I would
That's
like for you,
okay.
please
Yeah.
review this in your email, and I, would like to speak with Councilman Allen
Okay.
afterwards.
Thank you for bringing us all this information. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Any further individuals who wish to be recognized under public comment? Seeing none, we are adjourned.